No sports topic is out of bounds. You found the MN Sports Blitz. Along with former Minnesota Vikings linebacker Chad Greenway, here's Joel Niemeyer.
And welcome again to another edition of the MN Scores Blitz. I'm Joel. That is former Minnesota Vikings linebacker Chad Greenway. Good day to you, sir.
Hey, good day. How you doing?
Doing very well, and boy, the fall sports season is done. Crowned some state football champions, and your first season as MN Scores kind of in the books for you guys.
Yeah, unbelievable. I mean, you look back at the kind of the fall, and God, how fast things go, right? You look back and feel we just started this thing, and Vikings are over halfway through their season. High school football is now done, and college football is moving into the playoff world. So it's pretty crazy, and MN Scores was so much even better than we thought. We had such a great response from fans, from folks that were excited about what we were doing, and also just folks that wanted to be a part of it and jump into something new and fresh. So it's been going great, and we obviously want to continue to have a great response with folks, and hope that continues here into winter sports because they are off and running. As you know, it's a whirlwind when you get into the hockey and basketball world. There's games every night, and you're moving at a quick pace. So it's fun to see it get going, and we can see, like in our world now, in the app world, it's about building back up, about getting that fan base switched over from football and volleyball into basketball and hockey, and we hope people jump in with 2 feet and let us help them out with their high school seasons.
Well, the last time you and I chatted, I know you gave a little shout-out to Hutchinson. They ended up winning the state championship. A lot of those kids went to your camp, and I'll even give a shout-out to one of the Lakeville South players, his dad's a buddy of mine, and I know he also went to your camp as well. Is that fun to see those kids grow, and now they're winning titles after 10 years ago they're in your camps?
It's everything. I mean, some of these guys were only a year or two ago in my camp. I mean, it goes quickly because we have up to 8th and 9th grade. So a lot of these guys are jumping in with 2 feet. And if they're not, if the Hutch crew, especially if they're not in our camp, they're helping with our camp and help with the youngsters. So, which is so fun. So it's amazing to see. Obviously I'm so proud of that program. Fun to see Harley on the sidelines of the high school games, and I just know how great that community is and how fun it is for them to get to the state championship game year after year after year with just that proud program they have. And to take it home this year was just awesome, just absolutely dominant performance. And looking back at their year, I followed them pretty closely just because there are so many connections, and just love the improvement over the year. I mean, just the point of dominance where you see a Becker team that they lost to ends up, losing, and then we take care of that opponent pretty clean. So, yeah, Hutch is a pretty special place for me and across all programming.
Now, in football, for Hutchinson, for Lakeville South, and I'll even include Dassel Cokato, those 3 programs kind of throwbacks. I mean, if they throw combined 10 times in a game, those 3 teams, I mean, they just run it down your throat. As a defensive player, when you played, is that demoralizing when you know what they're going to do and you still can't stop them?
There's nothing worse. There's nothing worse when you can't stop somebody from doing what you know they're going to do. And the run game especially, because it's just physicality, right? It's can you line up? And it happened to us a few times with the Vikings. I can remember one instance out in San Francisco where that happened to us, where we just could not stop their scheme. And it was a combination of physical, but also just the mental piece. We weren't on the same page. It's demoralizing, I would say, is the best way to put it. It's really tough. And I think when you get into that, this kind of throwback mentality, just comes down to the culture of the program. And that's where you see what Hutch has done so well, and a lot of the other really good programs have done. It's just physicality. It's something you teach in the weight room. It's something you preach in the off season, and these kids are really buying into that.
You mentioned the Vikings. Let's jump over to there, because they kind of weathered the storm of the Packers, but then got bit by the 49ers. I mean, it's just that roller coaster season keeping on going.
It is. I mean, what a good football game that was. I mean, it's a game you obviously want to win. It's a game that we just made too many mistakes and too many errors and couldn't figure it out. It's unfortunate. The roller coaster season, as you put it, is correct. I mean, this is a good football team, whether fans want to believe it or not. And it's just at some point, you got to win games like this coming weekend against Detroit. You got to win games where you can take care of business and know what to expect. But having said that, is you got to go get some of these wins against playoff teams. The Niners are now in a great position for the playoffs. We're still floating around there as well, and And we have an opportunity here to seize this thing these next few weeks. If we jump on it, we can really take advantage of it.
The Vikings obviously going forward now. I mean, I was watching the 49ers game, and on there I saw a stat that the Vikings are the only team in the NFL to have a 7-point lead or more in every single game this season. Is that, I mean, I suppose it's a double-edged sword. It's good that you're getting out and you're jumping on teams, but you've also now blown 6 of those leads.
Yeah, I mean, you got to finish. I mean, that's the name of the game in the NFL is can you finish, right? I mean, there's going to be ebbs and flows and ups and downs. But if you're able to finish these games and go get wins, I mean, that's what the difference is in these teams that are surefire playoff teams and where we're at the 500 mark is we got to go get these wins. And when you've given yourself a chance every week, it's about how can you hold that grasp and make it in. You know, that's that, and take it all the way home to the W. That's what it's all about.
The defense, I know they're getting kind of blasted, and they're just they haven't been able to stop very many people. I think they're 27th or 28th defensively, last against the run. What does the defense need to do to improve?
Yeah, it's consistency. It's finding who we are. You know, who we're going to be as a team, who we're going to be as a defense, and hang our hat on that. I think that's what this team has historically, especially defensively, really had their identity, and they've known who they are. And I think if you look back at this season, you just don't know if they have identified exactly who they are. And I think that's a challenge is we need to be really good at stopping the run, really good in the back end, and just that inconsistency has led to the kind of the record we have. But if we can find that, and there's time here. That's the best part is we're in this stretch of this kind of 4 or 5 week stretch where all these important wins and losses are really going to kind of play out at the end of the year. And I think, we have a chance as good as any to go seize this thing. And a lot of divisional opponents left. You got the Bears twice, you got the Lions, you got the Packers. So there's plenty of chance to do it within our own division.
And you kind of mentioned the end of the schedule. There are some winnable games there. I mean, you should be favored. We, meaning the Vikings, should be favored in at least three of them, if not maybe 4. Is that something that you gotta now start taking care of business, and you got to win the ones you're supposed to win?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you got to take care of business and win the ones you're supposed to win. That's exactly right. And this Chicago team is the one that you look at. You have them twice left in the schedule. We know they've had their fair share of struggles. Can we go and take advantage of that? Can we go take advantage of it and get that W twice? And Soldier Field's been a pain in the butt for us. So there's plenty of challenges left. But don't get me wrong. I mean, this is not not absolutely in the bag. But the reality is we know that this team is capable of beating anybody, like we saw against the Packers.
Let's move over to college football because the last time you and I chatted, I asked you for a prediction on who's going to be in the Big Ten title game. You got 0 of the 2 teams, and I bet you're very happy that you were wrong on one particular team.
Yeah, you sort of try to do the reverse karma bit on that one, right? Like try to get some goodwill by picking somebody different. It's funny. It just worked out amazingly well and lucky for my Hawkeyes. I mean, you're down to Nebraska. Things are not going well at all. You need to find the spark. And shocker for the Hawkeyes, it comes from the special teams. That's just the way we operate. So, I know LeVar Woods, who's our special teams coordinator. He's a great Hawkeye and a kind of historic guy himself. And for him to kind of be the catalyst to get that W in Nebraska was just awesome. And then you get a fumble recovery, and you kind of win it the Hawkeye way, the way we've been winning all year. And it's ugly, but it's effective, and people can excuse it away, but the reality is it's getting wins. It's the exact opposite of what's happened to the Vikings is they found ways to win in tight games. So, then the Gophers come out and just play absolutely dynamite. Just thought they played just dominant from start to finish, and that's fun to see. Fun to see a team that's been so close, and you look at, if Iowa doesn't come back and get that win in Nebraska in comeback fashion, the Gophers are in, and as good as the Gophers are playing right now with their run game, you feel like they have a chance to beat anybody. So, needless to say, happy my Hawkeyes are in. I'm really happy Michigan beat Ohio State because I did not like that matchup at all for my Hawkeyes, but I don't mind the Michigan matchup for us. I think it's a game that's winnable. So we'll see what happens. It'll be fun down there in Indy.
Do you want to play spoiler? Because if Iowa wins, chances are fairly decent the Big Ten doesn't get anybody into the playoffs. Do you want to play that spoiler role?
Oh, absolutely. It's Michigan, man. You absolutely want to play spoiler. There's no question about that. And there's a lot on the line for Iowa as well as the way off chance that you could back your way into the playoff, which is they're at 13. It's very, very unlikely that happens. But there is a chance and an opportunity for us to make the Rose Bowl. It's what it looks like is the best possibility for the Hawkeyes in a bowl game if we win. So, I mean, what program doesn't want to go get a chance to play in the Rose Bowl? I don't know of any that wouldn't want that. So, exciting times certainly in a game that we're excited about.
I like a good story. I like a good underdog. Is this the year maybe a little guy like Cincinnati can get into the playoffs and try and make some noise?
Man, I hope so. I think they, what more can you ask of a team? Obviously they can play a tougher schedule. We know that, and we that's been well documented and a lot of conversation around. But at the end of the day, I'd like to see somebody like that get a chance and see what happens. I think it begs the offer the question of, do you go to 8, right? Does the playoff all of a sudden go to 8 and become a little more expansive? It's an argument that I think I would make, and I think that a lot of people would like to see is go to 8, get more of those teams in there that have really, really good years, that have a chance to go in and make some noise and, make these teams earn it.
And we'll wrap up with some Gopher talk because it was overall 8-4. It's a good season, but you keep wondering about the season that was, because there was only one game that really wasn't in doubt. I mean, Ohio State you should have gotten. I mean, that should have been the result, but you probably should have beat Illinois. You probably should have beat Bowling Green, and Iowa was a 50-50 game that you had your chances to. So it's kind of, to me, the season that almost was for the Gophers.
Oh, there's no question it was, and I think that's the frustrating part for Gopher fans, is just not being able to get over that hump, and that's the challenging part. Is when do we have a year where we have all this success in different ways, but never be able to actually go and kind of make it out and actually make a Big Ten title game and really go make some noise. The Gophers have a really good thing going. Their O-line is extremely good right now, and I know they're going to lose a lot of seniors there. But the reality is it's a good football team and a good program, and what PJ's done. Hopefully they keep PJ. I know there's a lot of talk about him going elsewhere, but that's going to play a big role in how this thing moves forward, obviously. But, it's about building that culture and who we're going to be, and they really have seemed to find their identity with their run game, and I think that's really going to help them.
Sounds good. Hey, we'll check in next time, and I still want to try and find time to talk about some Wild and some Wolves, but boy, the football season has just been so exciting here lately.
It has been. Well, now you wrap up high school, fall football, and maybe we can get into some of that next week, because it's exciting. And the Wolves are above 500 for gosh sakes. When can we say that last?
I honestly cannot remember. I mean, I've been in Minnesota my entire life, and I cannot remember the last time. So we'll look forward to it then.
All right, thanks, Joel.
Thank you, Chad Greenway. I'm Joel Niemeyer here on the MN Scores Blitz.
The MN Sports Blitz has been produced by KDUZ, KARP, KGLB, and the Ingstad, Minnesota Radio Network. Complete episodes are available on our website and on YouTube.